Hey everybody, welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show that was voted most likely to be a pop and geek culture show. I'm Cody.
I'm Sam.
I'm Josh.
We have a fantastic show for you this week. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, we have a million things to go over with you, a bunch of fun stuff, video game news, movie news, TV, all of that cool stuff. But first, let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out!
Someday I want to get like an original version of that, like someone with a screaming guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you play rock guitar, contact us. Get a hold. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about some things we have been doing this week. I actually am going to jump in first. I have one quick one. So as I have said on the show before, I get some quite a bit of time at work to watch things on my phone or what have you, but watching action things does not work. I've tried watching things that I have to have a active pay attention to. So it has to be something either passive or something I've seen before. Documentaries are very passive. They're like podcasts that you can look at every now and then. So I watched a new documentary called Remembering Gene Wilder.
Aww.
Just came out. I think it's on Netflix. I found it other ways, but it's on Netflix. And, most documentaries are kind of flowery. They kind of gloss over a lot of stuff. This one also seems that way, but I actually think it's less because they're trying to downplay any negatives that Gene Wilder might have had, and more because he didn't have any. He just seemed like a really, really sweet, nice guy. They talk to a lot of people that he had worked with over the years. Actors and actresses, producers, that sort of thing.
I'm assuming they pulled Mel Brooks in.
Mel Brooks, I think, talks more than anyone else.
Well, yeah, because he worked with Gene on 2 movies.
And it's surprising. He's like almost, I think, if he's not 90, he is very close to 90.
Oh, yeah.
And he is still sharp. He is still like right on it. And he told some really good stories about finding him and casting him in The Producers, which I guess was his first major film role. Huh. And he had only done he had done stage up until that point. He had done like maybe one bit part in a movie once, but his second role, I think, was the second lead of the original Producers. They talk about casting him in Blazing Saddles, which he wasn't their first choice, apparently. The original first choice was an actual alcoholic and couldn't get through his first line without vomiting all over the set.
Oh.
So the studio said, we need to find someone else who we can insure. And Mel Brooks was like, oh, yeah. Gene,
I know this guy.
We'll get a hold of Gene. They talk about the Willy Wonka. They talk about some of his later films, which I've never seen. I've watched his films up to a certain point, but some of his later ones I haven't really gone into.
I honestly don't remember the last movie I remember seeing him that wasn't like Young Frankenstein or Blazing Saddles.
Everybody knows Young Frankenstein. Everybody knows Blazing Saddles.
Willy Wonka.
And the Richard Pryor ones. Stir Crazy and See No Evil.
I forgot about those.
Yeah. Actually, really interesting about that. See No Evil, Hear No Evil. They cast Richard Pryor as the blind guy instead of the deaf one because he was going through the first stages of MS, which is what he eventually passed of.
Yeah.
So a lot of the scenes of Gene Wilder's character assisting the blind man through, he was actually propping him up and helping him walk through the sets and stuff. Kind of interesting stuff. They talked to Richard Pryor's daughter quite a bit through it as well. They talk about his marriage to Gilda Radner and going through that
I didn't realize Gene Wilder was married to Gilda Radner.
About 2 or 3 years tops, because it was right before she tested positive for ovarian cancer and eventually passed of that. He's done a lot of charity work for cancer research and helped establish, what is it called? Gilda's Clubhouse. It's a bunch of centers across the U.S. and Canada that are like, I don't want to say like refuges or anything like that. It's more like centers for gathering people who are going through various cancer treatments to kind of come together and prop each other up and
like
things like that. Like a community center for folks with cancer, which is really awesome. And then they talk to his second wife and go through kind of the later years where he got really into painting, got out of and writing, got out of acting, and eventually his degenerative Alzheimer's
kicked in.
Yeah, they said the first time they noticed something was wrong was he was doing an interview and couldn't remember the name Young Frankenstein. And his wife said that was his favorite movie. There's no way
he would have forgot that.
He would have forgotten stories about Young Frankenstein prior to this, but he just couldn't recall it during the interview.
I think I saw that interview.
It was rough. I think he was on Conan or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. But it was a really, really good documentary, and the thing is narrated by Gene Wilder. They took, he apparently had read the audiobook version of his memoir from years and years ago. So they used excerpts of him reading his memoirs as like the connective tissue between the interviews and the films and stuff like that. So you get his opinion of things along with
when he was
the talking heads.
When he was a little more lucid.
Yes, yeah. So really interesting documentary.
I feel like I would cry if I watched it. Because I love Gene Wilder.
I was going to say, if you are even a little bit sensitive to that kind of stuff, you will be crying by the end of it. But really, really good documentary. It's actually one anecdote that I wanted to bring up with it, and then I'll be off of it. The reason he said, and a lot of people in the documentary, they also told this story kind of, so I believe it's true. They mentioned the reason he got into comedy was because when he was a child, his mom had heart conditions. She had a stroke very young. She had a really weak heart. And he remembers as like a 5 or 6 year old, a doctor coming in to the home to check on his mother after the first stroke. And he remembers the doctor coming to him and saying, "Don't ever argue with your mother because it could kill her." Because her heart was so weak.
Yeah.
So he decided at that point, I am never going to make her sad. I'm only going to make her happy. And that's how he
got into comedy
at a young age and kept going and kept going and kept going. So fantastic documentary. I would 100% check it out. And then I followed it up by watching Blazing Saddles, which I don't need to get into because it's a classic film.
Yeah, everyone knows.
That was last week's show where we had to cut it short.
Yeah.
The Lost episode. But we don't need to get into Blazing Saddles. Everybody knows Blazing Saddles. That movie is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway, you guys, what's up? What you been doing?
I got a couple quick ones.
Let's do them.
So, I've got the new Souls-like game, Black Myth Wukong.
Oh, Monkey Souls.
Burning up the Steam charts, apparently.
Yeah, and everyone's hard drives. It's like 100 gigs or something like that.
It was a big
Lord.
It was a big download.
It's like 132 gigs altogether, I think.
It was like 100.6 or something.
100.6?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. At least that's what my PlayStation said.
Gotcha. I think on PC it's like 132 or something like that.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'm not that far into it. I'm like maybe an hour.
I am not surprised that you got this game because you love the Monkey King,
the Journey to the West, and all that. Yeah.
Sun Wukong storyline, Journey to the West.
Yep.
But you still won't watch Monkey Magic.
It always comes back.
Back to Monkey Magic, and you call yourself a fan, and you haven't watched the Chinese, Japanese, American production.
I thought it was British.
It is British. You're right. Monkey Magic.
I've seen bits of it. And it's bad.
You watched it here.
Yeah, and it's bad.
We watched the first episode.
It's bad.
It's wonderful.
It's bad.
It's Tokusatsu, but Journey to the West and 70s.
I mean, to be fair, Monkey: The New Adventures or whatever on Netflix is really bad too.
Oh, cool. Okay, awesome.
That came out a handful of years ago.
Yeah,
it still pops up on my Netflix.
Do you remember when they did Lego sets of it?
The Monkey Kid one?
Yeah, the Monkey Kid.
Oh yeah, I am completely caught up on the Monkey Kid animated series.
Oh, that's right, there is that. And then there was a DC Comics character that was
the Monkey Prince.
Yeah, who was an updated version of...
Well, he's not an updated version. He's the son.
Yes, that's right.
He is the son of the Monkey King.
And he was human until one point, and then he...
I don't remember... Because it was done as a one-shot comic,
and then he showed up in the background of a couple.
Well, no, now he has his own book,
right?
Where he has two books. Well, it was part of their DC did this thing one summer where they were showcasing
new characters, different characters.
Characters created by creators of color.
Yes,
and I think it was
that's
like,
it.
And I think it was like during like Asian Heritage Month or something.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's when they did the Monkey Prince. Mm-hmm. And there's actually 2 trade paperbacks now. There's the Monkey Prince and the Monkey Prince Returns.
Nice.
On my Amazon wish list.
Excellent. All right.
So anyway, Black Myth Wukong.
Yes.
It's a beautiful game.
I've seen screenshots. It
Game
looks very
science.
nice.
Oh my goodness. Game science really put in the work on this one because it is like the water effects, wind effects, how you interact with the environment around it. Mm-hmm. It is crazy. Like the whole opening of the game is you are Sun Wukong. Mm-hmm. It takes place after Journey to the West. So he's already, went to India and back and got the scriptures and gained Buddhahood as the victorious fighting Buddha, Sun Wukong. And then, but somehow along the lines, he somehow gets in the crosshairs of the Celestial Court again.
Okay.
Which is where all the deities and whatnot in Chinese mythology live.
It's the Mount Olympus of
basically,
Chinese mythology.
Yeah, where the Jade Emperor and all them hang out.
Yeah, I'm not terribly familiar with them, but I do know enough to kind of go, all right,
but
that's what that
the
is.
game opens up, you are assaulting the heavenly host again.
Oh, wow.
Just like in the old story.
Yeah.
And then Erlong, general of heaven's armies and stuff, shows up, and you fight him as like this is how you fight, tutorial. Mm-hmm. And you're fighting in the clouds, and like the way the clouds swirl around when you're swinging your stick and stuff, it's crazy stuff, the amount of like detail they put into it.
Interesting. Do they have the gimmick where after he starts with all of like the celestial abilities and then he gets stripped of it, and that's why you are kind of weak at the beginning of the game?
They do like the Metroid, like I lost all my
or Symphony of the Night when you get all your stuff taken.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, except Erlong beats the brakes off you, and you fall back to earth, and you fall back into a stone, and they keep saying, well, he's going to come back. And then it's like hundreds of years later, and it's the other monkeys that live on the mountain of flower and fruit. I can't pronounce its Chinese name.
Sure.
They say it all the time in the game, and I'm like, cool. I'm glad I have subtitles. So I've been playing it in English. This one seems to have like the opposite effect of like Ghost of Tsushima, where it was made originally in English and they added the Japanese audio later.
Okay.
This one is, they obviously made it in Mandarin first, and then it's been dubbed into English.
Because Game Science is a Chinese company.
Okay.
So the mouth flaps don't quite work. Mm-hmm. But regardless, it's hard. I will say. It is.
Well, it's like a Souls game. Yeah. So it's supposed to be difficult.
It is, and it's not.
Which is why I've had little to no interest in it. I'm not a Souls boy.
It's not either.
It's not quite as bad as Souls. I'm like, yeah, there's like, attack patterns to memorize. There's a lot of dodging. There's a lot of blocking.
Okay.
But you have different fighting stances you can take.
Okay.
Like there's like staff stance, there's pillar stance, and there's something else. I can't remember what it is.
Okay. Does this kind of take the place a little bit of like in a Souls game where you're finding different weapons and they have different attributes and specials or like charged attacks or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you also do find gear that does augment certain stats and whatnot.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you're using the staff all the time. Mm-hmm. That is your weapon. I mean, you're a magic monkey in Chinese mythology.
The Q-tip staff is what I always call
iconic
it.
Yeah, the cudgel. The cudgel. Yeah. But then there's also other abilities, like you learn magic. Like I've learned like a freeze spell. There's one point in the game where I turn into a cicada and I can fly around and scout the area before I actually go through it.
Okay.
That's cool, yeah.
Because you have the 72 transformations. You can turn into anything.
Okay. This almost sounds more like a Assassin's Creed a little bit. Like a cross between the two.
I mean, yeah.
The middle ground between the two, yeah. I can see that.
Kinda, yeah. But I could definitely see where people, make the Souls comparison, because like all the normal enemies, you can kill them almost like nothing. The only time it gets hard is if you screw up and there's like a bunch of them around.
Right.
But if there's just a couple good swings or like a power strike, they're done.
And that's how the Souls games are as well.
But it's when you get into the actual bosses or the mini bosses and stuff that it gets kind of rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, I want to go back and start really getting more into it. It's been hard. I've been at work all week and whatnot.
Sure. Well, we are all middle-aged adults.
Yes.
We find time for the nerdy stuff
when we can.
but we are still all functioning middle-aged adults.
Yes.
So
my other check it out is the new Dredge DLC came out.
Cool.
The Iron Rig.
Okay. Yeah.
So
That's it's not fishing.
It is
fishing.
It is fishing. Okay.
It is the Lovecraftian horror fishing.
These games have nothing to do with each other, but I keep mixing up Dave the Diver and Dredge.
There is
a Dredge DLC for Dave the Diver.
Right, and that makes it even worse. But even before then, I was conflating the two, but this is more of the Eldritch horror where Dave the Diver is more
sushi restaurant.
Sushi restaurant,
yes. Sushi restaurant with
cat scraps.
With underwater there is a cat in the sushi restaurant.
Fish, guacamole, and peaches.
But yeah, Iron Rig has a lot more going on than the last DLC did, which is nice. Because the last DLC was, here's an iceberg with some channels you have to break through once you get the big metal part on the front of your boat and catch all these Arctic fish. This one, the company, some big corporation comes in and puts in a big oil rig. But when they turn on the drill and start drilling, all this oil comes up out. But it's also not normal oil. It's like horror oil.
It could be a crossover with that horror game that just came out not too long ago that takes place on an oil rig, and I can't remember what it was called.
But yeah, it sounds really cool though.
Yeah, it's not bad. I'm not that far into it, but they definitely add, like, when the last DLC came out, they added, like, I don't know.
Still Wakes the Deep.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which is a great game.
I will never remember that name.
I played that all the way through. It was really good.
Yeah. It has a cool title. I like it. But
it's a bunch of Scottish people on an oil rig that hit some sort of evil oil that makes scary monsters.
yeah, that's pretty much what this is.
Nice.
I did get a new attachment for my boat that allows me to suck up oil and turn it into some kind of tainted black goo symbiote stuff in a canister.
Oh, very cool.
And I can turn it into the rig and get more equipment or new equipment.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dredge. I mean, I've beaten up until this point, I have literally 100% of the game. There was nothing else I could do.
Excellent.
All the achievements, all the fish, all that stuff. But now I'm back into it a little bit, and I'm like, all right. But also, I think this is the last DLC, because now my splash page says the complete edition.
Oh, there you go. Not to get into it,
that's fine.
I played a DLC of Vampire Survivor, the new Operation Guns, the Contra.
With the Contra one?
The
Nice.
Contra one. Really good. I mean, it's Vampire Survivors.
Vampire Survivors is on Apple Arcade now.
Yeah,
Vampire Survivors Plus.
Yeah. But it's really good.
Contra's a good fit for that, actually.
It is. Yeah, it's a really good fit. Their stage isn't one of those random maps that keep rotating. It is an actual stage with different things to do in it, kind of like the Among Us or the other two DLC that they've done.
Oh, okay.
And they've added a full second page of the buff cards and a bunch of other weapons and stuff like that. It's really well done, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is still Vampire Survivor, but I'm waiting for the cartoon.
I'm waiting for the next update to Hollow Cure.
Oh, there you go. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they just put the Hollow Cure characters into Vampire Survivors and just get it over with, because it seems like they are teaming up with everyone and everything.
Vampire Survivors is becoming the new epic.
Yeah, kind of. And that's cool.
Well, Dave the Diver's doing it too. There's so many crossovers with everything with that.
I think it's awesome. Indie producers.
There was Dredge and Godzilla, and that was it.
Talking and crossing over with other indie producers. I love it.
Well, Dave the Diver's not
indie.
Well, not a real indie game.
It was part of the best indie games list,
and that was the biggest pile of garbage
on the Game Awards.
You know, indie game dev studio Nexon.
All right. Well, Cody, what have you been checking out this week?
I watched Longlegs a couple days ago.
Okay,
the new horror movie with Nick Cage in it.
Yeah.
It is excellent. It's very good.
I have heard it's really good, and he's very creepy in it.
Yes. and creepy while still being like kind of funny because it's Nick Cage, but also creepy. Like, yeah. I don't know. He just devours every scene that he's in.
It's
like
Nick Cage,
like you would want him to.
Good.
And the movie itself is really good. It starts out almost like a FBI procedural, like they really lean into the Silence of the Lambs kind of thing.
Oh, interesting.
But then partway through, it just takes a wide right and becomes something completely different entirely.
That's the best way to do horror movies because that's what grounds it in reality almost. Started out totally straight.
Yeah, you think you're getting one thing, but it ends up being something completely different.
The Exorcist. I rewatched The Exorcist. It's been like a million years since I've watched it.
I rewatched that not too long ago too.
And that's the same way. It starts fairly grounded. I mean, there's a little bit here and there, but it starts fairly grounded, and then it just ramps up.
I didn't realize the crab walk down the stairs is not in the standard cut of The Exorcist. That's director's cut material.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I sat there waiting for it the whole time, and then it never happened. And I'm like, oh.
What have they done to my boy? Look what they've done to my boy. They massacred my boy.
I love the scene when she talks to the astronaut and she's like, you're going to die up there.
Yep. And Exorcist 2 is terrible, though.
Oh, yeah.
Never watch it.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Nor have I seen the third, which turns out that's Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite movie.
Yeah, well...
he was a serial
3
killer.
is almost an Exorcist film in name only. It was written by the same guy, Blatty, but it was his follow-up, and it was his book just had a couple of characters that were kind of crossing over, but it was a completely different story. And when it came to be filmed, the producer said, "This is an Exorcist movie. You got to put an exorcism in there." So they tacked that on at the end.
Oh.
But the whole thing, the book was actually called Legion, and it's about a bunch of spirits entering different bodies and stuff like that.
Didn't they make a movie called Legion?
Eventually, but it has nothing to do with
okay.
No.
There's a TV show, but it was
That's
that's the
Marvel.
That's Xavier's son.
Yeah.
With really tall hair.
Mm-hmm.
But Longlegs is great. I would highly recommend it.
Is it about spiders?
No, there's no spiders.
No. Okay. I have been kind of wanting to watch that Adam Sandler movie that's on Netflix, The Spaceman.
Oh, no, I know nothing about this.
Yeah, it's like a serious film.
Oh.
He
does okay as serious actor.
He's like I
like Punch Drunk Love, so...
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that, yeah. But yeah, he's like an astronaut, like all alone, like in a space station or a ship or something. Mm-hmm. And then he starts hearing a voice, and there's a giant, realistic-looking spider. Like, it's big.
Oh, okay.
And it's talking to him.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I sit there and I'm like, I kind of want to watch this, but
And let me guess, he was like, "Get away from me, spider!"
I was hoping you were going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I wish.
Because I wanted to, but I can't do the voice.
I mean, Sam is the voice guy.
I'm kind of the voice guy a little bit, yeah.
I mean, he's got Kermit, he's got, George Lucas.
And that's all of them. And mid-90s Adam Sandler.
And the Creep.
Oh, yeah, well, we can't talk about the Christmas Creep. We cannot invoke him. Not until December.
It's showtime.
And even then, we'll probably get in trouble.
Yeah. Speaking of Adam Sandler, did you hear he is working on Happy Gilmore 2?
Of course.
Go back to the well. Why? Hey, you know what? Happy Gilmore was one of his best films, I feel.
It's either that or Billy Madison.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Waterboy was all right.
Hey,
it was okay.
I love Waterboy. I like Billy Madison. I love Happy Gilmore. I love Little Nicky.
You know what? Little Nicky grew on me. I did not like it when I saw it in theaters. Did not care for it.
I mean, most of the jokes are very low-hanging fruit.
Yes.
Well, it's Adam Sandler.
I mean, yes, that is Adam Sandler.
Big Daddy was good.
Oh, I was just getting ready to say Big Daddy is probably one of my favorite.
Of course, I haven't seen it in 20 years, but
I hated Click.
Oh, that was garbage.
I hated
Click.
That was
terrible.
Because it was so maudlin.
Yeah.
It was just so...
It just hit you over the head with it.
Yeah.
Too.
Or this is sad. Feel sad.
What is that? Fun with Dick and Jane?
Dick and Jane? That's not him.
That's Jim Carrey.
Oh, right.
That movie was smoking.
Hubie Halloween.
I haven't watched really any of the Netflix ones, so
I've heard nothing but bad things about
Hubie Halloween is the only Netflix one I've watched, and like it was kind of so dumb that it came back around for me to the point where like I enjoyed watching it.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Like, I remember watching 8 Crazy Nights when it came out. His animated Hanukkah movie.
I loved that when I was a kid. I'm sure if I watched it now, I would hate it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All like he voices so many of the characters, and the other characters are basically just his weird voices he used to do on like SNL or Billy Madison.
And like a major recurring joke is that an old man has seizures a lot. Oh,
Yeah.
That's real funny.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Very funny
yeah,
stuff.
whoa.
Yeah.
Stop the Presses, Comedy Gold.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't end the break on that. Someone say something actually funny.
Actually funny.
Skibbity-doo! Let's take a break!
Welcome aboard Long Play Flight 3502. Destination great music with a connecting flight to lifelong memories. I'm Greg Dunham, and I will be your pilot on this flight to musical wonderment, departing at 11 o'clock on Friday night with a return flight scheduled for 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. We know you have a lot of choices when it comes to radio stations. We're glad you chose WZMO.
Hey everybody, we're back. A bunch of stuff happened to the break, but you don't get to hear it.
Yeah, that's for us.
That was for us only.
That's for us only.
But what we do have for you is some news.
That deserves a round of applause. That's yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So yeah, what do we want to talk about first? We have 2 weeks worth of stuff, and we picked the worst week to not do a show last week because there's already a lot of stuff.
Plenty of stuff.
And now there's more. So
Okay. So we got 2 big ones
yeah.
that have a lot of content.
Okay.
So we've got GamesCom and we've got Nintendo Power. Or not the Nintendo partner.
Oh, wow. Nintendo Power. Wow.
I know,
Oh,
right?
jeez.
That takes
yeah.
me back.
Oh, man. Yeah. Why don't we do the non-video game stuff first and then round it out with the video game
And
stuff?
so my mom can turn off the show.
And so my
after
mom
that.
could
Yeah.
also turn off the show after the video game
Frankie
stuff. Yep.
Freako.
Yeah, this trailer looks great.
The best movie ever made. I'm calling it now.
It looks so good. It's from the people who made Psycho Gorman, which is one of my favorite
Yeah.
modern like comedy horror.
Legitimately
Weirdo
one
movies.
of the best movies I've seen in a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
My hunky boys.
Without context, that sounds crazy.
I
With
know.
context, also kind of crazy.
Yeah.
That movie is wild.
Yeah.
You should look it up.
Oh yeah. Not if you are weak of stomach.
Well, yes. I mean, it's in the title.
Comedy-
Psycho Gorman.
Viscera to a comical degree. It's like slapstick.
You know what I love?
Like Evil Dead 2.
It's like Evil
kinda.
Dead 2. Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I love about these like modern bad movies that are like kind of bad on purpose?
Throwbacks to 80s.
Throwbacks to 80s.
Yeah.
They use practical effects.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love it.
And that's what this studio really.
Did you see Destroy All Neighbors? Have you watched that?
No, I haven't watched that.
It's pretty good.
Okay.
It's got a lot of practical effects like that. It's Jonah Ray and Alex Winter.
Oh, okay.
And Alex Winter is like this gross, annoying neighbor guy next to Jonah, who's like this prog rock musician.
Oh,
who's
sure.
trying to make an album. And the neighbor drives him up the wall and he accidentally kills him, but he comes back to life.
Oh.
And there's all kinds of weird, gross puppets and stuff.
Okay.
It's very good.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool.
so, Frankie Freako.
Frankie Freako. Cody, you know about what this is kind of based on,
Yes,
right?
this is based on an ancient meme from a 900 number commercial.
Early 90s.
Yeah, that has this like gross little yellow puppet that dances around. Barely dances around.
Talking about how cool you could be if you call this number because we're going to party on the phone.
Yeah,
The freaker.
He's a little yellow man who loves to party.
And he was
wants
like
you to,
Frankie Freaker?
Freddie Freaker.
Freddie
Freddie
Freaker.
Freaker.
That's it. Yeah.
And you can call him and he'll tell you what's scamming from New York to LA.
That's it. Yeah. So in this film, it's a straight-laced guy, kind of a weird straight-laced guy, but a normal guy, sees an ad for this little weird puppet man.
Well, the whole thing is like his girlfriend basically tells him like he's boring or whatever.
He's boring. Don't call this number because that's kind of weird. But he calls the 900 number.
He wants to.
He wants to. And all of the gross little puppets show up at his house.
Yeah, the little puppet monsters.
And
it sounds like an Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode.
It really does.
It does. And then
they're like a cross between like Batteries Not Included, Critters, and Gremlins.
The Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah, they're like little garbage people.
The Ghoulies.
Yeah, the Ghoulies.
Ghoulies go to college.
Yeah.
It feels like that.
Yeah.
But then he gets sucked into
Their world.
weirdo puppet world where they are outlaws or something.
No, they're being chased by a puppet mob boss.
Yeah. They're like being, yes. It looks hilarious. It looks gross. I kind of love it.
Yeah, the puppets are like appropriately cheesy.
Yes,
like their mouth
look
movements
like junk.
are the same garbage mouth movements that the original commercial has.
Oh, they did it right.
And also like all the stuff they say is just cringe.
Oh, bad stuff. Yeah, but absolutely worth checking out.
You ready to go, Freako?
Yeah, I'm so stoked for this.
I am too. All right, so what else do we have?
They did a special Hot Ones to celebrate Donald Duck's anniversary of
90th birthday,
That
90th
duck-
anniversary.
that duck old.
He is, yeah. Yeah, it was fine. It was fun.
It was funny.
I think the funniest bits were like the Mickey off-camera stuff.
Yeah.
The animation was really great.
Oh, it was
and it was
solid.
Cell. It wasn't
It was
Flash.
traditional animation.
Yeah, which was awesome. The only thing is Sean, who is a cardboard cutout of a human to begin with, is an even worse actor. So he's asking these questions and he's like putting emphasis where he normally doesn't in his regular interviews. It felt a little weird, but overall it was a lot of fun.
Because he was giving an interview to an empty room. I mean,
Yeah, that's probably, that's it. But yeah, no,
also,
it was fun.
Really would have been nice if they properly credited the animators.
That would have been
didn't do
cool,
that.
but they didn't. Yeah, but Disney, you know.
I mean, they're gonna get that Disney check anyway.
Well, you know what's a throwback to to 90 years ago when he was first created? They didn't credit any of those animators
No,
either.
they just said Walt did it.
Yeah.
that
Uncle Walt did all of it.
That one-man army, Walt Disney, built an empire on his own back.
Yep.
Other movie trailers. There's a new trailer for the third Sonic movie.
Yeah.
Sonic 3. Oh, it looks so good.
It does look pretty good. It looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
Oh,
Keanu Reeves sounds all right.
He sounds like Shadow. should.
Yeah.
Maria.
He rode a motorcycle.
He did the Akira slide.
If he had the big gun, that's all he needs.
Yeah, he didn't shoot.
not.
He didn't
One
shoot a gun.
scene with big gun.
I wonder if it'll happen, like just for like a quick second.
You know what? There's going to be a scene probably where he's fighting the U.S. government or the
shoots a robot.
clandestine government, and he's going to pick up one of the government people's laser pistols or laser guns, and he's going to shoot a robot. Probably.
Yep.
That's probably what. It's
Oh yeah,
gonna be.
he's gonna shoot a Robotnik robot.
But everyone's coming back, including Jim Carrey, who's claimed he was retiring after the second one.
He just loves being Robotnik.
He really
so
does.
much.
Everybody who works on that film seemed to absolutely love it.
Oh yeah.
Idris Elba has stated that he loved playing Sonic as a kid, and he would, if he could only work on one project for the rest of his life, it would be playing Knuckles in the Sonic movies.
So like the little
probably because it pads his wallet.
Oh
Yeah,
that's
and
true.
it's
well as well.
easy.
It's,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's super easy. You can literally phone it in. But oh man, those couple jokes right there in the trailer cracked me up. Like when Shadow shows up and he's like, "You are way more impressive than the last Hedgehog I fought," and Sonic's like, "Dude, I'm right here." and Sonic's like, "We don't want to fight you," and he's like, "Actually, Sonic, I do."
I would like to fight him. Yes,
and then persists to get his butt kicked.
Knuckles is back to being dumb Knuckles.
Oh yeah, he's dumb Knuckles. He's
Yeah.
he's himbo Knuckles.
Oh yeah.
Where is Amy and where is Rouge the Bat?
I have heard a rumor that Big the Cat is going to make an appearance in Sonic 3 somewhere.
Have you seen the poster?
Yes.
Oh, it looks so
looks
good.
really good.
I'm a little sad they didn't call it Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
If they would have
should
waited for the third movie to introduce Knuckles, I understand why they had to do it the way they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been the callback to the old.
I mean, the poster for Sonic 2 was almost a straight up recreation.
Oh, yeah.
of the Sonic 2.
I'm honestly waiting for a Sonic Adventures style 3D poster for the new one where he's doing like the weird like hand, under the big circle. You look up Sonic Adventures, you'll see it's like some crazy like skateboard pose without the skateboard kind of thing. It's cool.
Hey,
but
you think they'll introduce the chows?
They are in the trailer.
They are in the trailer.
Are they? I didn't see
They're
that.
at like some sort of chow restaurant.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yep, they're there.
All right, cool.
And Jim Carrey plays both Ivo Robotnik and his grandfather, Gerald Robotnik.
Or his dad.
No, grandfather.
Oh, I thought it was his dad.
It's his grandfather.
Huh.
Yep.
At least in the game, it definitely is his grandfather.
It's his grandfather in the game, but it's also a grandfather in the.
I love the fact that like Jim Carrey in the first Sonic movie looks virtually almost nothing like Robotnik.
Sure.
He just looks like dude. And then you have the end credits scene where he is Robotnik. And then as the movies have progressed, he has gotten more and more.
Well, he's fat now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's become Eggman.
He has become the Eggman.
He has become Egg.
Mm-hmm. Cuckoo. But yeah, it looks great. I'm so excited. The last two have not disappointed.
Yep.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. Let's keep making them. They're fun.
Oh, yeah.
And again, people seem like they're really enjoying making them, which is important.
Who would you cast as Silver?
Well, you know what? There was a lot of fan casting online to get Hayden Christensen as Shadow. I think he would make a decent Silver.
Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, that's a good one. I
don't know why.
No, Willem Dafoe seems like he should be a voice in it somewhere.
Vector.
There you go. The crocodile. Yeah. I still think Patrick Warburton would be a great Big the Cat.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's Patrick Warburton. His whole career is basically himbo.
I've got to find my friend Froggy.
Well, they could just get John St. John back. Also.
They could. That's very true.
I mean, they randomly got the original voice actress for Tails.
I feel like they got that simply because they couldn't find anyone else to do it.
You can't. There's not enough kids to stunt cast.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
All the Stranger Things kids are too old now. So
they couldn't get
one of
Finn
those.
Wolfhard or whatever.
Yeah.
They're busy.
Timothy Chalamet is Tails. Okay, quick hits.
I'm just imagining Tails doing the fear is the mind killer speech.
Fear is the mind killer, Sonic.
Fear is the one death that leads to total annihilation.
Now you're sounding like Lumo in the Mario movie.
Yeah.
Darkness takes us all.
So quick hits. So they're doing a Vince McMahon tell-all documentary on Netflix coming out in about a month and a half. And WWE is not producing it.
That means it's going to be good.
Which means they're going to get into the nasty bits. It's not going to be a fluff piece. It's produced by the guys who produced Tiger King, and they left nothing on the cutting room floor for Tiger King. So I imagine same stuff.
Speaking of Tiger King, remind me to talk about Chimp Crazy next week.
Okay, Chimp Crazy.
I keep seeing that on my Macs.
Okay,
Watch it.
That's a teaser.
It's a Tiger King-esque thing about
chimps,
about chimp people.
Okay,
and it is wild.
All right, that's a teaser for next week. We got this.
Oh, now I'm gonna have to watch it.
There was also supposed to be a Hulk Hogan biopic starring a Hemsworth. Was it Chris Hemsworth or Liam?
I think it was Chris Hemsworth.
And it's been canceled, which is the best news I can think of.
Oh yeah.
They don't want to be attached to that that toxic brand.
No, definitely not.
They shouldn't have wanted to in the first place.
You know, he came to Columbus a few weeks ago promoting his beer company or something like that, and the overwhelming, because I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah. I remember seeing that.
And the overwhelming sentiment is, wow, I have literally anything else going on to do that day, so I don't have to be there.
All I get on Facebook is Brazilian Hatsune Miku.
Yeah.
Now that we're back down into the last 12 minutes of the show, let's hit the big two video game news things.
Yeah, let's talk about something that could have filled the entire hour and squeeze it to 12 minutes. So yeah, Gamescom first. That was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, a lot of games at Gamescom this year. That's the big one. Where is it usually broadcast from?
Oh, somewhere in Europe.
I think it's Germany, or at least it was last year. Yeah, this is another Jeff Keighley Jeffy K's Wild Ride.
Why do we let this guy do stuff?
Because he's the only one that can successfully do it without it failing. E3 is gone.
Failing in quotes.
Failing in quotes, yes. So yeah, why don't you guys tell me a few of the games at the GamesCom?
There wasn't I didn't think there was anything super huge.
It wasn't anything super huge, but there were a couple of things.
There was a really dumb Squid Game game.
Oh yeah, Squid Game, the game.
Yeah, Netflix is doing a Squid game, but it doesn't match the tone of the show
Not at all. Not
it's
at all.
It's Fall Guys in green jumpsuits.
Yeah. Everybody's having fun and falling off the thing.
And not in a death game.
And not a death game kind of way.
I do remember in the trailer, though, there was
animated, a little bit of blood or whatever.
Animated death and some
but it's
cremation.
Still fun time stuff. And that's not Squid Game.
I have played better Squid Game knockoffs on Steam.
Yeah,
sure.
There's
like Crab Game.
Yeah, Crab Game is the one that a lot of streamers I've seen play that one.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah.
Even better.
The Indiana Jones game that was going to be a big Xbox exclusive, that's going to be on PlayStation 5 now.
Yeah. That's kind of... There were a lot of those that were... They were going to be Xbox exclusives, and now they're not.
Yeah.
It makes me kind of wonder, is Microsoft going to be getting out of the
console business
and going into strict...
I don't think so.
The newest Xbox does not sell particularly well, and everything that's on it is also on PlayStation 5, which looks better and
PC.
runs better. Or PC.
On PC, yes.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 doesn't necessarily look better.
Oh, really?
No, they're about the same.
They're about the same.
Okay.
But I would say that the PlayStation has better exclusives. I think that's the big thing. The last two generations have had better exclusives.
The few they've had.
Well, yeah.
For the PlayStation 5, they haven't had anything big hardly at all. It's all remakes and remasters.
Or sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
They showed that Mouse PI for Hire, the old-timey cartoon first-person shooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
I think it's called Mouse.
Yeah, it's
Hunt.
Mouse PI for Hire.
Yeah, and it's like a old school rubber hose style.
Yeah, it's black and white.
Mm-hmm.
It's black and white, like Cuphead kind of style, but it's first person shooter.
Yep.
It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks cool.
There was a bunch of Blizzard stuff, but they don't make fun games anymore.
No, they don't. All right, hey, do we want to switch over to the Nintendo Partner and Indie World Direct?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Because that's where all of the good stuff is.
That's where the good stuff is.
Nothing first-party Nintendo. This is strictly third-party and indie games.
Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of both.
Yeah.
A lot of both.
Good stuff. Pizza Tower coming out on the Switch. That hasn't come out anywhere else except PC. It's a fantastic game that I think I've talked about 100 times, how much I love Pizza Tower.
Yeah, Pizza Tower, that's it's almost like speedrunning Wario type game.
Yeah, speedrunning Wario Land 4.
Yeah, basically. And what's the main character's name? Peppino?
He's a little pizza chef, kind of like a pizza box style pizza chef, running through the titular Pizza Tower.
To get ingredients for the pizza and then having to run back because... supernatural whatever's monster things.
Just because you have to run back.
Because you have to run back, yeah.
It's a great game. It feels great to play.
Yeah. The updated final version of Shovel Knight is going to be coming soon. Shovel Knight DX, where you can play as basically any character in the game.
I wish they would just make a new game, though. How many times do we have to have either re-release or more content to the same game?
I mean, but Shovel Knight's a good game.
It is a great game.
They have
it's a great game.
And they have produced other games. They're working on Mina the Hollower, which is an old school GB Color kind of thing.
And they've been working on that forever.
I know. I backed that thing, and it has not been released yet. But they had Shovel Knight Dig, which was fun. I was #1 in the world for a brief time. I think
that was a good game too.
It was a good game.
Yeah, Shovel Knight Dig was great. It was like Dig Dug, but better.
Yeah,
like Mr. Driller Shovel
Knight.
Yeah, sort of. And there was Balatro.
Oh yeah,
a whole bunch of crossovers with that weird card game Balatro.
Yeah, but it looks like it's just the backs of cards designs, which that's fine.
And that game just I I don't like card games, so I've not touched Balatro. I could be wrong. Everybody seems to love it, but
yeah. Oh, you know what? Star Overdrive.
oh, that looked kind of cool.
Yeah, that's the one where he's on the
hoverboard. You're a hoverboard guy, open world space,
and your weapon is a keytar, an electric keytar. Yeah, that one. It looks like future space Breath of the Wild with fast traversal.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
It looks really cool. Yeah, I might have to pick that one up if it's not, not too much.
I think that weird little Sims game they announced looks kind of fun.
The My Sims,
those little Animal Crossing Sims.
That's a re-release.
Is it?
It's an old Wii series with the My Sims, and it was like kind of like Animal Crossing cutesy Sims.
Yeah, that's fine. That sounds good.
It's just surprising to see EA put anything on the Switch at all.
Well, that's very true. Yeah. Do you want to switch over to the partner showcase? These are bigger companies.
Yeah, third-party big companies like Capcom and Konami.
Yeah. Speaking of Capcom, everybody shut up. Capcom versus SNK is finally coming. It's being re-released for the first time in like 15 years.
I know, right?
In the Capcom Fighting Collection 2.
Yes.
Which has a lot of great games in it.
Oh, man.
The first
and
one...
Capcom Fighting Jam.
And Capcom Fighting Jam, which is the dirt worst game.
Like, the first Capcom Fighting Collection was cool. It was nice to play, like, Darkstalkers and stuff again.
Yeah.
I forgot how hard some of those older Capcom Fighting games
they were brutal.
And I'm
not as bad as the SNK games, but they were pretty brutal.
I was like, I bounced off that one hard. But Capcom Fighting Collection 2 has one of my favorite, I don't know, what can you call it? An arena?
It's Arena Fighter.
Arena Fighter.
Because you both know what I'm going to talk about.
Oh, Power Stone.
Power Stone. And Power Stone 2.
Project Justice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Project Justice. That's a cool
that's
game.
a great game. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Power Stone is very good.
The game that once made me so mad, I smashed my controller into my Sega Dreamcast until it didn't read discs anymore.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
All right. Little rage.
Monster
little
Energy
rage
didn't even exist yet.
No, it didn't. No, I was an angry teenager, and there were some things going on in my life.
You Kyled that.
I did, though. I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was fighting who's the British guy, pilot guy, Falcon.
Falco
kept beating me. I got so mad.
Yeah, well, he's like the Ryu of the game too. He's supposed to be like the good one.
Yeah.
But Power Stone 2, which is getting 4-player support. Like the original, and
so
also
online.
Yeah, everything has rollback netcode, so it's going to have the good online.
I was probably playing as the Mummy because he's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously.
Yeah. Also, Capcom versus SNK 1 and 2.
Yep.
It has Project Justice, which is kind of like a spiritual sequel-ish
to Rival Schools.
It's the direct sequel to Rival Schools, but it's also set in the Street Fighter universe because Sakura is in it.
Yeah.
And Akira was in Street Fighter V as a crossover character. Yes. It has what was the one with the laser sword? I know, Psychic. No, it's not Psychic. It's whatever it's called. It started its life as a Star Wars fighter, branded fighter that had the Star Wars numbers filed off, basically.
I think I had it on Dreamcast too.
A lot of people did. It was a pretty solid fighter, kind of like Soul Calibur a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, do you guys remember Soul Blade?
Oh yeah, the original?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the original. I had that
I
one
did
on
I
PS1.
did too. Yeah, I did too. There was also Suikoden 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Suikoden, yeah.
Suikoden.
Suikoden.
I never know how to say it.
I could never know either, but those games went for so much.
Yeah, they were very rare
PlayStation
games.
JRPGs. PlayStation.
And now they don't. They won't be worth anything because you can play them on.
Will. They still will.
That's fair. That's fair.
The secondhand video game market is insane.
It is. Yeah, I agree with that.
But they're great JRPGs.
Oh yeah, they're
really
fantastic.
Cool.
I'm super excited.
A lot of unique mechanics.
Yep.
Like army building and base building and stuff. It's very cool.
Castlevania collection, another GBA collection, right? No?
DS. These are the 3 Castlevania games that came out for DS. Some of the best Castlevanias they've ever made.
Is that the one where you drew the sigils on the touch
I think in almost all of them you have to do that. Now you just press buttons, which is objectively better.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
But it's Dawn of Souls, the second one with Soma Cruz, the one where you control the two characters at once.
Yep.
Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia, the one with the girl with a tattoo on her back that sucks people's souls into it.
Nice.
They're all awesome. They're like up there with Symphony of the Night good.
And that was a release day and date, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yes.
I already have it and have played a large amount of Dawn of Souls.
Nice.
Good job. Also, Yakuza Kiwami.
Yeah, I was really surprised by this one.
The remake of Yakuza 1.
Yes.
Getting re-released.
The better version
Again.
of Yakuza 1.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
The Kiwami games are great.
Yeah.
They're really good remakes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised they didn't start with Zero, because that's better.
Yakuza 0 is great.
I wonder if it runs on a different engine though than Kiwami.
That could be.
I wonder if it was easier to port.
Yep. I also
Kiwami.
feel like this is testing the waters for bringing the remaining Yakuza games.
Like a Yakuza collection.
Yeah, I hope it sells really well so they can release all of the other ones on the Switch too.
That would be great.
The more people who can play Yakuza, the better, because it's a fantastic
It's a great
series.
game. Kiryu is the best, and he has canonically never killed a person, even all those people he killed. He's never done it, not a single one.
Even when he sticks a knife in your chest and then knees the knife deeper into your chest.
And he says, "You are dead now.
Yeah.
I have killed you." He's never killed anyone.
Never.
Just like how Batman's probably never killed anybody accidentally.
Except for all those people he's killed.
He's accidentally.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm thinking about Yakuza 0, and I'm like, I miss Cabaret
Majima?
Yeah.
I forget, is Kiwami the one that has the Majima Anywhere system?
No, that's Kiwami 2. No. Maybe it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
It might be.
Yeah, where Majima just shows up out of trash cans and around corners, and
sewer lids.
you just have to fight him.
Because
He's sane in Zero, and then he's crazy by the end of Zero.
well, I don't know. I think he's still kind of insane even in 0, because he does some really weird,
Right,
goofy
but
stuff.
he's like running a cabaret club. He's
very serious and
he's
very good
serious.
at it.
And by,
Oh, yeah.
and by the next game, he's
Kiryu-chan, I'm going to get you.
Mark Hamill voiced him in the first game, like the PS2 like localized version, which is about perfect.
yeah.
So he just sounds like the Joker.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's fine. It's weird that they keep remaking the game, so now Yakuza 3 is the worst one.
I think that's the one that I am on, playing
really?
through all of them. I've played through 0, I played through Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2, and I'm like partway through 3.
You know what? I haven't played a ton of them, but I've just started Like a Dragon, the new one.
The JRPG
The JRPG one with Ichiban, the other protagonist. But it's a lot of fun. The JRPG one, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I like it, and I love a JRPG, but the real time combat is just so much better.
Oh,
I think.
Oh, sure.
It's just so
It's fluid. It feels good.
yeah, it just feels good to just walk down the street and beat people up.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
It's very stress relieving.
I imagine that, again, testing the waters to see if the other Yakuza games will end up on the Switch, and also seeing how much the Switch can do compared to the Switch 2.
Yeah. This might be the foot in the door.
like a benchmark test.
It might be.
After this, then the rest of them will come to the Switch 2.
That's what I'm...
the successor to the Switch.
That's
Whatever they call it.
Now, anytime Nintendo announces anything now, they have to also add a second tweet that says, we're not talking about the successor to the Switch during this presentation.
Oh, no, we won't hear anything about it until either holiday...
It'll be
it won't
after
be-
Christmas.
Yeah, it won't be released this year, but I bet either by the end of the final quarter, which is usually like middle of March, the fiscal year.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
or beginning of Q1.
I was gonna say, I feel like the first Switch came out about May or March.
March.
I think I was in school college when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was no snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I waited in line at the Meijer to get one for several hours.
I was at the GameStop.
I had mine pre-ordered through GameStop and paid off.
Yeah. Went home and played Breath of the Wild for like 6 hours straight. I took the day off work that day.
That whole weekend was gone.
It was a good time.
It was great.
Man, the first time we played Breath of the Wild is just like so
Yes.
mind-blowing. Like,
yeah, and then going back again, it kind of feels like a chore. And
yeah,
I'm like,
well,
ah.
like before you know the limits of the world and the limits to how everything works, it just feels like you're in another world.
Yeah,
Like,
the
yeah.
idea of looking at it somewhere in the distance and going, I want to see what that is, and just being able to go to it.
And move in a way that feels good and is fun to move. Not like a Skyrim or
where you're
those
just running forever.
where you just move and you just kind of slide around
slide
like
around,
it's a
yeah.
first person slider. This actually, there's a joy to the movement.
Yeah.
Also, just, that glider was fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We are actually at time, so we should probably go ahead and wrap things up
Like a mummy.
like a mummy,
Hey,
like your
like
favorite character from Power Stone. Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what his name is, but
It's Mummy's Alive Mummy. That's
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah.
Oh, I loved that show.
Yeah, we can't get into it, but
I
Mummy's
know,
Alive
I
was
know.
great. You are listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you all for tuning in. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
If you have social media, which you probably do, you can find our Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, or support our Patreon. All those links are available at links.nerdoverload.com.
you can send us an email, staff@nerdoverload.com, with questions, comments, corrections.
You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube.
Support our YouTube.
YouTube, it's over there. YouTube. And finally, I want to thank Parker for helping us out at the Facebook page and David Pencil for our intro and outro. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.